What's up YouTube? Capital G here. Got an awesome duel for you guys to check out. We got Fel Grand Dragons taking on Thunder Dragons, and I actually like Fel Grand in this matchup. I'm not saying that it's like a better deck than Thunder Dragons, but this matchup specifically, I just feel like the Thunder Dragon fusion monsters don't really do all that much in this matchup. If you think about it, Fel Grand can out either Titan or Colossus because it has that banishing effect, doesn't have to run over a monster in battle. And the Thunder Dragon player doesn't really have a way of stopping this, I guess, unless you run like a lot of effect negation. But this card is so easy to get into the graveyard with things like Trade In. Most of the Felgram builds run Foolish Burial and Dragon Ravine, and then they can just kind of resummon it. Now, this is more of a pure Felgram build. It's not essentially like Art Brave and Felgram Turbo like some of the last builds that I showed off that were using Card of Demise, and then they just play a billion Call of the Haunted cards like Oasis of the Dragon Souls, Bat to the Front, etc, etc. Anyways, we'll see how this duel is going to play out, but yeah, I actually like Fel Grand in this matchup specifically. I think Thunder Dragons are going to open here, and he's going to make a pretty solid play. Some people would argue that, it's not solid unless you end with triple fusions, but I think he's going to end with Titan plus IP Masquerena and then also a Colossus. If you don't have Colossus, what exactly are you doing? It's not a bad board. I don't think I would want to, link summon with one of my fusions, but if your opponent puts you in a position where you have to, then I guess it's better than nothing. Anyways, let's see what the Felgrand player is going to do. He's going to activate Dragon's Ravine to get that Felgrand in the graveyard, then goes for the Dragon Knight of Creation to Monster Reborn it. That means it's going to be able to take down one of those fusion monsters regardless of whatever he tries to do. That's getting banished. Monster Reborn, the real Monster Reborn, will be used. That's going to take down Colossus unless he chains IP Masquerena, which is exactly what he's going to do. I guess he feels like, hey Cap, if I'm going to lose it, I might as well use it and then go for Nightmare Unicorn, spin back to Felgrand. Problem is, Felgrand can still run over Unicorn. It doesn't matter if it's protected by destruction. And then if Felgrand runs a monster over by battle, it will summon another dragon from the graveyard. And then that dragon can also attack. So you get double damage plus maybe a rank 8. Nope, instead he's going to go for Heavenly Spears. That will give him another answer to potentially like another fusion if he drops it. He is going to go for Colossus. This card is almost certainly going to get bounced by Heavenly Spears, but I think you just got to put a bunch of offensive pressure on your opponent, which is exactly what he's going to do. Colossus will get bounced, and then he's going to get Art Brave. Even though Art Brave just died there, the good thing about Art Brave is not only does it stop an attack, but then your opponent will, they're basically facilitating you summoning the Felgrand back from the graveyard. During the next standby phase, Art Brave's effect will activate, and it will summon this Felgrand from the graveyard. So chances are he's going to lose another monster to the Felgrand, so just dropping more fusions doesn't really help if they're constantly getting bounced and banished, etc, etc. Here comes Felgrand back from the graveyard to banish the copy of Titan. He is going to go after, I believe, the Dragon Ravine. Okay, fair enough. The Knight of Creation is going to get him a rank 8, and since he wouldn't have been able to run this guy over in battle, he makes a smart play. He says, Cap, I'm gonna go for a rank 8 here, go for my Divine Knight Felgrand. Nice. And that can turn off the Colossus. No battle protection from you or for you, and then he can just run it over. So we'll see if he can get back in this duel. I think he will be able to drop another fusion, maybe something that can beat over this guy. Actually, he's gonna go for the BLS link. I actually thought this was going to win him the duel because I was like, oh man, this card is incredibly strong. It's 3,000 attack and it gets a nice little bonus, so it's now 4,500 attack, but Felgrand is not out of this duel. Return of the Dragon Lords is going to banish a monster. He's going to run a monster over, get another level 8 from his graveyard, and look what he's going to make. He's going to make Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. That's nice because during the battle phase, it can negate the effects of monsters your opponent has, and that can actually turn the BLS off permanently, so it's going to lose the attack. He's going to run over the Solar Battery Man, and that's going to cost him a little bit of damage. Since this guy's effect is turned off, it is now able to be targeted, and all he had to do was simply rank up into the Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon, which can just pop it. What is it set? I think it sets Bat to the Front. Is it Call of the Haunted? Same thing basically. Bat to the Front, Call of the Haunted, Oasis of the Dragon Souls. They all do the same exact thing in this deck. He top decks Super Polymerization, which obviously is not going to do anything, and that is a scoop phase. Even if he would have top decked the live card, Call of the Haunted would have given him another Felgrand, so chances are he would have just been able to banish whatever card. I guess this deck does run a bunch of the Call of the Haunted cards. For what I've seen, or from what I've seen, essentially that's the only trap card you really want to run in Felgrand. I guess maybe you could run like Impermanence because you can run that card in anything, but basically you just want a bunch of trap cards that summon Felgrand back from the graveyard as many times as possible, because every time you do, it can banish one of your opponent's monsters, and then if it runs over a monster, it gets another big dragon from the graveyard, and you can even get something back like Arcbrave, which can, if it dies, it can trigger its effect. So it's just kind of like one big recurring dragon, you know, beatdown type deck. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the short duel. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.